What's up, YouTube? Back at it again. Another modification on the Ford F350. This is a little cheap Amazon tailgate shock. Goes here to help with the weight of the tailgate. So let's see. Actually, I bought two different ones because they didn't have one of each. So I'm gonna do one on this side, one on this side. But let me show you the weight of this gate. So see how it bounces the entire truck. It's pretty heavy. Plus I added this ladder, which is not really a lot, but it's still added weight. So I believe, I guess we can get it open first. Alright, so like I said, I got two different ones, but as they are both made in China, I'm sure they're probably the same thing. So let's pull this stuff out of here. They even have the same sleeving on the packaging, pretty much. So, shock. Same shock. Same, feels the same. Looks the same. Same length. That one may be a little shorter. Look about the same length except for this rubber piece here. So that's the same. So I just poured all that crap out. Those are the exact same. They even both come with this yellow sticker paper. I'm not exactly sure what that is, what it's for. But this screw here, or it's not a screw, it's a nut cert that goes in that hole there. And that hole seems quite big for that nut cert, but let's see. It's kind of funny that it came with, that's a regular Allen, and it came with a Torx. Let me see it, a Torx Allen. So I don't even know what they want me to use that for, because there's nothing else here. Maybe to remove this with, but yeah, that's what that's for. Okay, so they provided you one tool for your stuff that's already on your truck, but they did not provide a tool for the stuff that they want you to use. And I'm guessing everything in this packaging is going to be the same. Now, it looks a little bit different. This one has a plastic kind of bearing thing. This one looks a little bit different. It's more metal, but this one will go here up, and that's too small. So I'm gonna have to drill this hole out bigger on this side and hope that that one fits over here on this side. So maybe only putting one of these on today. So here's the other plate. Basically the same exact plates, just black. This one came with the extra shock mount. The other one didn't. They both came with red Loctite and the same exact shock mount ball, which will end up going in that nut cert that's there. So I guess the first thing you have to do is pull your tail lights off, and those are probably going to be 7 millimeters. Okay, so those are 5/16 or 8 millimeter. One at the top, one at the bottom, and then you should be able to just pull your light out. Just like that. Wiggle it out, then disconnect your bulbs, or just let it hang. I'm going to disconnect my bulbs because I don't want to just let it hang and putting stress on the wires and that. So something else to point out here on these connectors, you see here that's broken, which was this little release tab, and it broke on every single one of them that I popped off. So I would say be careful with them, but it seems like it's inevitable it's gonna happen. So just be aware that you may be either replacing those pigtails, or like me, I don't think it's gonna really make that big of a difference. They snap in pretty hard, so I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. Plus they're kind of water sealed, so it's not gonna be a big deal. If you care about it, maybe you wanna, I don't know what you can do, because they're old and they're just brittle, so they're gonna snap. You can order new pigtails if you want, but it's really not that big of a deal. They fit in there pretty tight. Alright, so I guess we're gonna try these Chinese Torx, and hopefully don't strip this bolt out. And it's super loose and wobbly. I may not want to do these with that. Let's see if I got one. Okay, so turns out I don't have one, and I used it, just went slowly, very carefully, and made sure it wouldn't slip, and I pulled it out. A lot of people pull this off before they start so they can remove it, but I don't really see the need in doing that when you're just going to put it back on there. You can just leave your bolt in there. So go ahead and get this other side. As you can see, I'm just going to slowly, there we go, take my time on it, and I'll get that one out and come back. So I took that one out, but the tailgate drops and sags too much, so I'm just gonna focus on one side at a time and get that done. So the main reason you have to take your tail light out is because you have to take this bumper off, because that's kind of where the shock is gonna sit at. Back side here is where your nuts are. All right, so these are 11 millimeter nuts. Pop those out, pop that off. Don't think you're gonna need those again, but you may want to throw them in your toolbox. But get you some power tools, make quick work of it. So now, got those out. This plate goes here, and then the nutsert, like I said, it's gonna go here, which I believe you have to hold this nut while you turn in this Allen bolt, and then that'll spread the nutsert. So I want to show you the directions in the different in the kits. So this kit is this one still. It just kind of shows you the warnings and what's included. Back is there for the directions. This one's a little more book style, which is just the same sheet of paper folded in half, basically. It shows you which vehicles that it fits and all of that stuff. So this one looks like it's not even telling you to take the bumper out. It's just kind of telling you to use a flathead screwdriver and pry the rubber off of, pry the rubber off of the mount, which don't really know what difference it would make, but it seemed like it'd be a lot harder to pry that rubber off of that mount than to just pop those screws out. To each his own, do whichever one you want to do. Alright, so now we need a 13, and it looks like a, let's see, a 4 or 5 millimeter Allen key. To get this, so what they want you to do, that hole is extremely big, but by their directions it should still work. So in the hold, first they want you to back this nut out from the head to the washer. Should be 3/4 inches, which it almost looks like it's already there. I just done that. I don't think it has to be exact, but that looks like 3/4. Maybe I can go a little more, but I don't want to pull it out of the threads. So you want to hold that in there, and they said make 9 revolutions and then check the stability, and then make 2 revolutions at a time until it's tight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, just so we're clear, when you're holding the 5 millimeter here, you're not turning the 5 millimeter, you're holding that stable. Sorry, you're holding that stable, and you're turning the nut, the 13 millimeter nut. And you see, I made 2 turns, and now it's not coming out, so it's working. All right, got the tripod set up. Now I'm gonna try to see if you can get what I'm doing here. Let me see. Let me have to shorten this thing up some. Sorry about that. All right, hopefully that's better. Just I'm gonna hold this steady, and you can just rest it on your bumper, really. And if you have gear wrenches, you can just put your gear wrench in there and just crank it back and forth. It'll probably be a lot easier. But you can see that's the stability of it now. I'm not counting, because they said count 9 360 rotations, and I don't really see the need in that. If you can put this in there and tighten it until it's tight, or until you feel like it's good enough for you. Feels pretty good there. Doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Let's see if backing this out spins that. It does not. It came right out. So now you have your nutsert in there. Take your ball. Get that threaded in, but I'm gonna put some red Loctite on it first. That's not going to be a 13. So that's a 16 millimeter. not that tight now. Remember, you don't want to tighten it to where you're starting to spin your nutsert. I guess it really don't matter. It's not going to come out of there, but you won't be able to get that back off later if you don't like it or don't want it or whatever. All right, so now we come back over here and get this stuff stored. Okay. Now, let's see here. Take our plate, our screw, put that back in there. The reason why people take these off is because it takes the weight off of the tailgate. But all you have to do is lean up against it a little bit and pick the tailgate. Now, I strongly recommend getting the proper torques for those, because I feel like this Chinese crap is just gonna strip my boat out. Alright, so I went ahead and got it as tight as I can get it without stripping either the tool or my boat out. I think it's pretty good. And from the directions, it's supposed to, the shock housing goes up top, the arm goes towards the bottom. So try to get this bottom one on and then pick it up and snap it onto the top one. All right, so I got the bottom one on. All you have to do is kind of lift up on this slowly and it'll go ahead and come up for you. Simple as that. So now that side's done. I'm gonna try to clear up some of this mess, put all in there, and I'll show you the difference with just one shock, and then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so you saw how hard it felt before. This is still only with one shock. Now it won't even come off down here. I have to pull it. That's way nicer, way slower, way less violent on the truck. I really may not even need to do that other side. I may just keep that shock just for a backup for whenever this one goes out, but we'll see. Well, that's pretty much it. Then you just go ahead and reverse everything that you got done, and your tailgate no longer slams down hard. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I went ahead and put that on the other one on the other side just because I have it. So that's nice and smooth. Closes like normal. Smooth. So one other thing that I wanted to hint on is you may want to put your tail lights back in first. I didn't, but getting that screw back in there wasn't really hard, but as you can see, the shock kind of blocks it a little bit. But you can still do it, but it's easier if you just go ahead and pop them back in before you put your shock on it. And like I said, you don't have to pop these off and remove them from there. You just leave them in there. Just slightly lift up on your tailgate and it comes right out. So there it is. I'll show you one more from here. It's not even gonna drop. So that's nice and slow.